But in general, the most tried and true studies when it comes to repeatable high impact was like 3 to 6 milligrams a kilogram.
No, Derek, that is not true. Coach Greg, and in today's video, Derek is on Joe Rogan again, and it's for close to 3 hours. And so in case you missed it, I'm going to give you a summary of some of the highlights. And so, of course, the comments bombarded me asking me for doing a review. Greg Doucette about to make 30 videos on this. Let's get started.
Unless you're a tiny woman, 400, 500, 600 milligrams are the doses that actually really move the needle when it comes to acute performance enhancement.
That's wrong. They're saying 3 to 6 milligrams, which for me is perhaps 250 to 500 milligrams of caffeine pre-workout, is what most studies are studying as in an effective dose. It's 1 to 3. Yes, there are studies that have gone as high as 6 milligrams and saying that they're even more beneficial. But for most people, you don't need to use a ridiculously high dose of caffeine in order to feel it or to get some benefits from it. Just because somebody quotes science, it doesn't actually mean that it's true. And trust me, depending on how dependent on caffeine you are, or if you don't drink caffeine at all, even 1 milligram per kilogram, which for me would be 88 kilograms, it's actually a lot. I know I was talking to brother editor Steve last night, and he says he can only take a quarter scoop of my pre-workout. He doesn't consume caffeine most of the time, and so for him, if he were to consume 3 milligrams per kilogram, he wouldn't feel normal. Perhaps it would negatively affect his sleep, could get anxiety. You don't want to overdo it, and so be careful with what you wish for.
They had threshold concentrations that they would deem inappropriately high, perhaps for safety, perhaps because I thought it was an unfair advantage.
Correct. This no longer exists. Caffeine was banned back in the day, started in 1984, and once WADA came to fruition, once it began to exist, they continued to have caffeine above a certain threshold that it was actually causing you to fail a drug test. And so back in 1984 up till 2004, if you used caffeine in too high of a dose, you are a drug cheat. Now, how many of you people think that if you double dose the pre-workout, that you're not natural anymore? I think most people would say that you can have as much caffeine as you want, and it really doesn't matter. But back in the day, they would drug test you, and if you had too much caffeine, you literally would fail the drug test. I've seen this happen before. Imagine failing a drug test for taking caffeine in a bodybuilding competition.
You can get performance enhancement as low as, I think some people, it was like 1 milligram per kilogram. It depends on the person and tolerance, of course.
Exactly. An efficacious dose is not 500 to 600 milligrams. That is ridiculous. In my humble opinion, which isn't humble at all, that is a ridiculously high dose. I do not recommend anyone consuming that much caffeine in a single dose. And so, for example, if you triple dose the Blue Lobster caffeine, triple dosed, that's 3 scoops. I consume 2, and that is a lot. There would be 450 milligrams of caffeine. I consume 300. That's just over 3 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. And for me, that is a lot. And so anyone that's taken 4 scoops of Blue Lobster, well, you're getting Blue Lobstered.
But in general, the most tried and true studies when it comes to repeatable high impact was like 3 to 6 milligrams a kilogram.
No, Derek, that is not true. Derek is saying that the studies, all the science-based lifters out there, they read all the studies and they quote it and they think that this is gospel. No, repeatable high impact as in that's the dose that actually works with hardly any side effects. It's not 3 to 6 milligrams. Trust me, you don't have to take 3, 4, or 5 scoops of Blue Lobster in order to get a sustainable benefit. And in fact, I would argue most people at that dose are going to have terrible sleep. You're going to feel anxious. You're not going to feel normal. And the more often that you do that, the more you're going to need to consume. Remember, your body gets used to caffeine. I remember back when I did a 1-month detox. After the month was off and I consumed half of a scoop of pre-workout, I literally felt like I was high, felt like I was visiting my friend Molly. Be careful. Don't overdo caffeine. Use in moderation.
Sprinters will take, modafinil or high-dose caffeine, or powerlifters will take, massive doses of, pre-workout before a lift.
Of course, pre-workout with caffeine, we all know it's effective for both strength, cardio, endurance, waking you up, making you feel better, and releasing dopamine. Why do you think everyone loves caffeine so much? The reason is because caffeine is a drug. It's a drug that we have legalized. And so there are other drugs out there. Derek mentions modafinil. I was also prescribed this for having narcolepsy. This is a difficulty time in staying awake and fall asleep like that. But now that I'm using Turk Platinum, I no longer need to use it. Now, you can believe me, you cannot believe me, but it kept me awake. Especially when I first took Turk Max, it was too strong for me. I couldn't sleep for more than 5 hours at night. I was always awake, and so I had to stop using it. It literally is that strong. Now, when I switched over to Turk Platinum, I get more benefits, and I'm able to sleep normally. My dreams have began to become normal. And of course, it does more than just keep you awake. It gives you more energy. You can train harder, build more muscle. Remember, I'm 50 and have more muscle than at 45. And what was the difference? Added in the Turk. And also, I only train 2 days a week in the weight room instead of 6 or 7, and I ride bikes 6 or 7 days a week. And so I train less and do more cardio and have more muscle, but it couldn't be that now, could it? And remember, there's a money back guarantee. And I read a comment, someone was saying it wasn't true. Of course it's true. Do you really think I'm lying? I'm making shit up. There's no money back guarantee. And so to prove it, buy it, ask for the money back, and if you don't get your money back, make a video saying that you didn't. Not only was there a $20 gift card, I've in fact increased it to $50. And so there's a money back guarantee, and on top of that, a $50 gift card. And so now is the time to try it. Code Greg, 15% off.
The highest impact dose in caffeine literature is 3 to 6 milligrams a kilogram. It's not like I imagine Chris is like blindly recommending anybody start there.
Exactly.
And so Derek has thought it over and he's now correcting himself. He's saying, actually, based on what I said, I'm saying things that I don't want to misconstrue. And so you can get performance enhancement at 1 milligram. And he recommends starting at the lowest dose that makes you happy, which is exactly what I suggest. After you listen to Derek, you would have probably thought I need 3 milligrams to 6 milligrams per kilogram of body weight, which is a lot. And so he now corrects himself because he does not want people to overdose on caffeine.
It's just when you look at the studies, like these are the repeatable high impact outcomes are typically in, and especially in like trained athletes where you're trying to see how hard you can push them.
And so I certainly hope that anyone who's willing to risk their health by taking that much caffeine would take something that makes more sense. If you're abusing caffeine to that extent, you can't sleep, you're trying to maximize your performance, and you're not taking Turk Builder Max or Turk Platinum, well, what is wrong with you? It makes no sense. Code Greg, 15% off.
And same with the creatine. You might shit yourself if you go to 20 right away. Like, you don't want to start there.
A lot of people do, apparently.
And so speaking of creatine, I typically take 7 or 8 grams a day. I get the rounded massive scoop. And it's really as simple as that. And people say it's too much work. I need to take creatine gummies because it's more efficient, it's easier. Yeah. The problem is it's excessively difficult to get the creatine to remain as creatine once you put it in gummy form. I tried. I was attempting to create creatine gummies, but it wasn't effective. And so when our company tested it, third party tested to ensure that it was proper and meeting label claims and so on, it wasn't. And so notice we don't sell a creatine gummy. And as you know, I love making money. I love selling things that people will want. Why do you think I'm not selling a creatine gummy? And so does that not make you think? Perhaps you think I'm a snake oil salesman. Oh, Coach Greg's selling snake oil. If this is true, why am I not making what I know would be a bestseller? We've seen videos, people exposing the creatine gummies, And so if you're buying creatine gummies, almost certainly you're being scammed. And so please be careful. Suggest you buy creatine in powder form. And so although we hardly make any money and hardly anyone buys my creatine, I suggest that you don't get ripped off in buying fake creatine gummies. Not sure if the one that you have right now is real, but it probably isn't, since based on what I've seen from the studies, people testing it and so on, unfortunately, the creatine degrades and it isn't actually real. And so if you want to benefit from creatine, both physically, cognitively, and so on, please choose creatine monohydrate in powder form. And you don't have to get it from me, get it from whoever.
Are you still doing the like million gummies a day?
Of what?
Of creatine.
No.
You said
no.
you were going to crank that shit up to get to 20 grams.
I stopped with the gummies and I went to powdered form.
Did he stop because he was tired of eating gummies? I mean, delicious, yummy gummies. I mean, I personally consume the biotin gummies from Costco just because they taste so good. Do I really care about biotin? Like, I'm just eating them because they're gummies and because there's vitamins in it. It prevents me from eating the whole thing because, you know, gummies, they're friggin' delicious. I'm not going to buy Jerry Bellies and Juju Bells and Bees and whatever they're called. And so I have the gummies with vitamins in them because it slows me down. I don't dare eat too many. And so it allows you to have some control. And so Joe Rogan, last I did a video on this guy talking with Derek, he was consuming about 15 gummies a day. And Derek was like, did you know that it's probably not actually creatine that's in there? Many people being scammed. And unfortunately, another scam that people perhaps they're not aware of is that if you're not buying your Ajuga turkestanica from HDLT supplements, you're almost certainly being scammed. I know that you don't want to hear it. I know that you want to think that I'm the scammer, but go and look on Derek's Gorilla Mind website and go and try to buy Turkplex. Notice how you can't. Why do you think that is? Remember when I said that everyone else that was tested, aside from HDLT supplements, that they had most likely had cyanosis and that we had Ajuga turkestanica? You didn't believe me. You thought, no, Coach Greg is a steak oil salesman. We've been vindicated. It's been proven. And I've called everyone out. How many lawsuits have I been in for this? A zero. Why do you think that is? Because I have chain of custody proof that other people are lying and scamming you. Other people, they realize, hey, perhaps they grew up and understood the errors of their ways. We're not going to continue to scam people. We're going to discontinue that product. That makes sense. An honorable man, after making a mistake, is not going to continue to do the same thing. They will learn. They will grow from it. They will try to do better. If you're interested in using Ajuga turkestanica, I understand it's big words. You don't understand it. But mine, HLT, it's from Uzbekistan. We've been there. You've seen Marwan traveling the world. He's like traveling Matt from Fraggle Rock back in the day, scouring the planet to get the best ingredients in the world for your benefit. If you're interested, of course you know where to get it. And if you don't want to use Turkesterone, Ajuga, you don't think it works, that's fine. You don't need to use it. 20 years from now, when eventually somebody does some meta-analysis and they can prove how amazing it is, you'll look back and said, maturing is realizing that Coach Greg was right all along. It's okay. You're still young. There's time in the future for you to believe in me. And if you don't believe in me, you think I'm a liar, why are you even watching this video right now? Like, really? You're watching me do a video about Derek and Joe Rogan and you think I'm a lying scammer? Like, why would you support me? Unsubscribe, unfollow, go watch someone else. Do you think I need your support? I don't need the support of people who don't like me. If you like my videos, subscribe, click the bell button right now. And if not, there's the door. You don't have to listen to me. Why you listen to a guy who sounds like the parrot from Aladdin when you don't have to?
I can't take it anymore!
The issue is, like, what else is in the gummies? You know, what are the other things?
It's sugar, Joe. It's sugar. It's calories. Yum. Gummies.
I can just mix creatine in a glass of water, stir it up real quick, and just chug it in 5 seconds, and we're done.
I mean, you saw me do it. How long did it take? I would say 5 seconds is an underestimation. I would say it's going to take 15.
I mean, going back to the 20 grams and the offsetting of, performance deteriorations, I do think it's basically offsetting kind of the deficiencies.
And so Derek mentions she's drinking 20 grams of creatine a day, spreading it out through the day, because if you consume it all at once, it has negative side effects to stomach and so on. It's odd that he still doesn't believe in beta-alanine, despite all the research, the fact that it 100% works. And I don't care if you buy it. I don't make money on this stuff. It's like not a moneymaker. It doesn't matter. You can buy it if you want. I use it. I know it's beneficial. And so I think you should buy it. And those studies that use 3.2 grams a day, do you really think it has to be exactly 3.2? The more, the better. Yeah, some people get those tingles. It goes away if you get used to it after some certain amount of time. But if you experience the tingles, just spread it out throughout the day. Creatine is beneficial. If you want the benefits of creatine and you get an upset stomach, well, have less more often. Beta-alanine, same thing. It's worth it. Now, if you don't care about your health, you don't take creatine, you don't do cardio, you don't eat healthy, you don't put the fork down, you don't give a shit, then so what? But why are you watching my videos? Like, I don't understand how there could be people that watch my videos that don't care about their health. I, Greg Doucette, not just Coach Greg, both of us are saying you should care about your health. And so what is something that can help you? Creatine. What else? Beta-alanine. What else? Turk Platinum or Turk Builder Max. All of these things can help. And while I'm at it, GO2 Max. They all benefit your health. If you're watching me, you probably care about your health, or at least I think you do. And so why wouldn't you consume products that can benefit you? Now, if you can't afford it, I get it. You can't do it. But if you have the money and you're somebody that goes and, for example, drinks alcohol at class 1 carcinogenic, you're blasting money at the bars, trying to press the ladies, buying them drinks. What is wrong with you? You're doing that over benefiting your own health. You're going to get more girls by improving your health and fitness than buying them drinks at the bar. And so work on yourself first. The girls will come to you later.